In this explosive courtroom clash, emotions boil over and legal tensions reach a fever pitch. At the center, a bitter eviction battle tangled in a complex web of overlapping jurisdictions, Wayne County versus Washington County, and global settlement that's anything but settled. The judge is caught between staying neutral and taking decisive action, while a frustrated defendant pleads his case after 7 years of back-and-forth litigation. And when the judge dares to propose a solution, things take a sharp turn. Is this just another delay tactic, or the final chapter of a prolonged legal standoff? Get ready, because this courtroom drama has layers of legal intrigue, fiery outbursts, and a looming eviction order that could change everything.
I'm not ruling that there's going to be an eviction. I'm not ruling any of that.
Then why rule at all?
Because it's my job.
Okay,
Sit down.
You know,
He needs to get out.
Patrick Tatura versus Martin Youngs.
Good morning, Your Honor. May it please the court, Eric Wadowski, 65354 on behalf of plaintiffs.
good morning, Darwin Fair, defendant P number 31266.
The plaintiff filed a motion to lift.
Let's break this down. The plaintiff is asking to lift a previous stay and proceed with eviction. That stay was likely in place due to pending matters in another court. But here's the kicker. This isn't just about one courtroom. The defense claims Wayne County still has jurisdiction due to a broader settlement. If true, enforcing an eviction now could violate that agreement. What do you think? Is this a clever legal stall or a legitimate jurisdictional mess?
To stay and enter an order of eviction. At the time, I had not received a response, but I thought I wasn't sure where other proceedings were. I realized what was represented in the motion. And so I set this for hearing on it. So.
Well, Judge, I hope we would not be here today. We've been down this road a number of times, and your question is always the same question, and the answer is always the same answer, which is the Wayne County Circuit Court has not closed the file. There's still pending actions in front of the Wayne County Circuit Court that impact on the issue that's before this court. So unless we're here to argue the Wayne County Circuit Court motion, I don't know what more to say to the judge. There's really nothing more to say.
This property is located in Washtenaw County, however.
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
the property is in Washtenaw, so I'm not clear why I'm worried about anything being litigated in Wayne County.
Well, what happened?
Let me rephrase that. I don't know why I would be worried about that with reference to this active proceeding forth in the eviction happening.
Well, the reason, Judge, is for the same reasons that occurred multiple times before this court, which is the property in Washtenaw County is subject to a settlement agreement that was entered into with the Wayne County Circuit Court judge. So this is part and parcel of this global settlement. And the reality of it is that this case.
Notice how the defendant's attorney keeps returning to the global settlement. It's like deja vu for the judge. Same players, same arguments, but the judge isn't having it this time. This shows how emotional exhaustion creeps into legal proceedings, especially in cases dragging on for years. You can feel the frustration from both sides. Have you ever been stuck in a loop like this in your own life, saying the same thing over and over, and still not?
This property is still subject to the jurisdiction of the Wayne County Circuit Court judge, as has been the case every time we get before this court. As every time we get before this court, it's the same issue, Judge. And now this is, I will admit, this is the first time I've heard the court say this, but the reality is still the reality. This property is part of, and Judge, I know you do not want me to repeat myself, and I don't like to repeat myself, but I'm a little concerned that if this is not being gotten across, is every time we get to come to court, it's because of the same issue of this global settlement that is before the Wayne County Circuit Court judge.
Well, no. Before I would, right. I mean, the reason the case is here is for whatever its reasons. But part of the reason that things were stayed is because clearly it was headed up the chain, the appellate chain. My understanding is that's no longer the case.
No. And let me.
No,
that's not the case. And so let me explain it this way, Judge, because I'm trying to get into your head. What the court, I think, is concerned about is the Washtenaw County Circuit Court case that directly impact this case. And that case, the Washtenaw County Circuit Court case, which was appealed to the Michigan Court of Appeals.
right.
Okay, that case was dismissed, Judge, as a result of a global settlement that is before the Wayne County Circuit Court judge. So what happens in this case is still being handled by the Wayne County Circuit Court judge because the Washtenaw County case, which was appealed to the Michigan Court of Appeals, was voluntarily dismissed as a result of the settlement.
Let me cut to the chase. Why wouldn't I just lift my stay, issue the order of eviction, allow it to be executed at some future time, that they couldn't do it right away? Allow it to be executed at some future time. And if you're correct,
At this point, the judge is proposing a strategic compromise: grant eviction but delay the actual execution of the order. Why? It gives the defense time to go back to Wayne County and argue their case. This is a rare example of judicial diplomacy, giving both sides something without making a full ruling. But will it work, or just spark more confusion?
then get a stay from Wayne County.
Okay, well, Judge, okay, now, and I'm hearing you, and I'll walk down that road with you. So the issue of the quote unquote eviction is a function of the ownership of the subject property. The ownership of the subject property is specifically before the Wayne County Circuit Court judge. So let's assume that the court says, okay, I mean, enough's enough, although it's the same issue that has been before this court multiple times, and the court says the same thing multiple times, which is, I'm not going to do anything until the Wayne County Circuit Court has made a decision, which is what, okay.
I don't know that I said anything about Wayne County.
No,
I think I said something about Washtenaw County and the Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court.
No,
Go ahead.
No. It's never about the Washtenaw County. It's always about Wayne County. It's always about Wayne County. It's never about Washtenaw County, because Washtenaw County, Judge, again, was appealed to the Michigan Court of Appeals. It was voluntarily dismissed as a result of the global settlement that was before Wayne County Circuit Court Judge.
And Mr. Fair, I'm saying, let's assume for the sake of argument that you're correct. I have a feeling there's going to be disagreement as to what you're saying in part. But why then wouldn't I just grant the relief, issue the order, and then you get a stay of that and allow an opportunity, so I wouldn't have it where it could be executed immediately, give you an opportunity to then get before the Wayne County Circuit Court, which you're saying this property is part of some global settlement, and allow that court to basically stay any order of eviction or enjoin the plaintiffs in this case from moving forward.
Okay, Judge, allow me to walk down that road. Okay, so
why is that a hard question? I don't need to be walked down the road. Why is that a difficult question to answer?
Because the hearing, no. Because the hearing that you're making reference to, that I should go before the Wayne County Circuit Court judge and ask for a stay, is a hearing that is essentially scheduled for July the 18th. That hearing will address the very point this court is making. So then
why don't I grant the relief, indicate that the writ cannot be executed until, if your hearing's on the 28th of July.
Now here's something to note. The judge is being crystal clear that issuing an order doesn't mean the eviction happens instantly. There's a built-in 10-day cushion, plenty of time for the defense to file for an injunction, but the defense keeps pushing back. Why? Possibly because they've seen delays before that didn't go their way. Comment below. Do you think the judge's compromise is fair, or should they wait for the Wayne County Court to act first?
No, 18. I'm sorry.
That it can't be executed until the 28th of July, giving the 10-day statutory period from the time of that hearing.
Okay, Judge, this is the road we always walk down because what happens is on the 18th, we don't know what Judge Ewell will do. Judge Ewell may say, I'm not going to hear it on the 18th. Or, and Judge, I'm only going by what happened in the past in the same.
Sorry, raising questions.
You're going to have to leave. You're going to have to leave.
I do not want to argue, Judge.
Go ahead.
Case. So what has happened in the past, which is probably what's going to happen today, is that on the 18th, Judge Ewell will do one of two things, which has happened in the past. When this issue is before this court, Judge Ewell may or may not hear the case on the 18th, or may hear the case on the 18th and then decide not to make a decision until sometime in the future. Now, again, Judge, I'm not saying this for the first time. This has been the history of this case. Now, if we look at what happened here, they filed a motion to go before the Wayne County Circuit Court judge, and it was scheduled for the following Friday. At the same time, they filed this motion in front of you and filed a motion in front of the 35th District Court, assuming that the Wayne County Circuit Court judge would close the file. Because I will tell you, Judge,
the judge's logic is simple. Issue the order, but put the brakes on execution. If the Wayne County case is still open and relevant, the defense can argue that before that court, this is a textbook case of concurrent jurisdictions to courts having stakes in the same dispute. But what happens if the Wayne County judge delays or refuses to decide? That's the legal limbo the defense fears most.
Question that you always ask, this is the question you always ask. What's the status of the Wayne County Circuit Court case? Is it open or is it closed? The answer is always the same. It's open. Your response is always the same. Well, I'm not going to do anything until the Wayne County Circuit Court makes a decision. And then a couple of times, Judge, you said, I'm going to adjourn it to right after when the circuit court judge makes a decision.
So why don't I put an end to that and just grant their relief?
Well, because
it doesn't leave you, Mr. Fair, without remedy, because you can always ask the Wayne County Circuit Court, as I've said, to either stay that writ if they've taken some jurisdiction over this property, or to enjoin the defendants from proceeding on the writ that I would issue.
Well, Judge, this is a conversation we've had at nauseum all the time, and
well, I'm trying to end it.
And what I think but I think, Judge, what you recognize is, well, that means I've got to run to the Wayne County Circuit, the Wayne County Circuit Court, ask for a stay. The judge is going to say, aren't we going to be hearing this on the 18th? And then on the 18th, like what has happened in the past.
Well, hold on a second. No, you wouldn't have to do that if you would listen to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I could grant the plaintiff's relief. They could not do anything. And I'm not even saying on the 18th. I'm saying for a 10-day period after that hearing. So if the judge at that point in Wayne County doesn't do anything, the 10-day statutory period would begin to run on the writ.
Wait a minute, wait, Judge. Okay, so the motion that is before the Wayne County Circuit Court, which plaintiff acknowledges affects what this court can do. What they're asking the Wayne County Circuit Court is close the case, close it. And then if it's closed, then they can come to you and say, hey, judge, it's closed. So let's go back to that point. On the 18th, if the judge does not close it, if the judge does what he has done in the past.
If judge does not close it, you could request of the judge to enjoin the plaintiffs from proceeding forward. If the judge does close it, the writ would proceed.
Well,
that seems really simple to me.
The 10 days after that.
Right, 10 days after.
But that means a couple things. Number one, if I'm here in the court is saying, well, if it gets adjourned to August the 10th, August the 18th, another month. And if at that time, the judge closes it, that means in this interim period between July the 18th and August the 18th, by definition, they can't do anything.
No. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, you're saying the Wayne County Circuit Court has that this is part of some global resolution.
Correct.
Okay, I'll take you at your word for that. I've not seen the resolution. That's fine. It doesn't matter to me. What I am saying is, I will assume you to be correct. I will assume also that Judge Ewell will act with his authority regarding any agreement there is. Right?
Correct.
So if I grant the plaintiff's relief, built into that are enough protections for the defendant in terms of being able to request of Judge Ewell to enjoin the plaintiffs from acting, if that case is going to be adjourned out or he doesn't rule on that day.
No. Well, okay, Judge. And I'm not going to belabor the point. I'm going to put the past in the past because we've always in this situation and your position is real simple. Is it open or closed? If it's closed, if it's
No. The question is it pending or not?
Okay.
So if the issue, Mr. Freeman, if the issue before this court is pending somewhere elsewhere,
correct.
That is always what I will address.
Correct.
And I think properly so. It doesn't sound like that's what's happening here. It sounds to me, based upon what you're saying, and again, I haven't seen it, that there is some resolution of this global resolution, whatever it is. I'm saying, fine. There are still issues to be decided with that. They don't need to be decided here. And so that I could grant the relief that the plaintiff requests with enough safeguards that protect the defendant until whatever that issue to be resolved is.
Well, if the court is saying that the plaintiff in this case cannot act upon any decisions of this court pending.
That is not what I am saying. That is not what I'm saying, and you know that's not what I'm saying.
Can I ask you a question? Judge, my client wants to ask a question. You can say yes.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I mean, we did everything. It seems like we get penalized every time, not in your court so much, but we do everything. We had a global settlement, 3 pieces of property, 1 in Washtenaw, 2 in Wayne County. We all signed, the lawyers all signed what had to be done to get that done. We do everything in the agreement. My family, do everything in agreement. They refuse to sign a paper, and we're here. And we're getting penalized by getting an eviction, no matter.
This moment is raw. The defendant pours his heart out 7 years of litigation, a house he built but couldn't live in, and a settlement he says they honored. It's a powerful reminder that courtrooms aren't just legal battlegrounds, they're emotional war zones too. And whether the judge rules today or next month, the damage to this man's peace of mind is already done. Can you imagine putting your life on hold for that long?
how you rule it, it's against us. Whether we settle something on the 18th or not. We're not supposed to even be here. This is a pending case in Wayne County Court that we all agreed to settle. That guy has the ruling. I don't know what we're
Then,
even here for.
sir, you, like your attorney, are not listening to me.
You're
I
saying you're
take
gonna
you
rule
at, if
and
you
give
want to
them their way.
interrupt me, then you go right ahead.
No, I'm sorry. It's just, I've done everything for 7 years. I've worked up in this and I've got, his client has jerked me around for 7 years. Well, and I haven't been able to live in the house I built. And then I'm gonna get an eviction notice that I know doesn't mean anything to you guys, but to my family, it means everything.
Sir, maybe you and your attorney should listen to what the court is proposing to do. Because both of you have been saying the same thing, that there is this agreement out there that is subject to the jurisdiction of the Wayne County Circuit Court. I'm not going to even begin to get involved in that.
Right. If you're, can I say one thing? I'm sorry, I'll leave.
No,
It's
no,
just-
no.
No, it's,
No.
he doesn't get it.
Judge didn't say. he
He's
couldn't.
always been
Hold it,
good,
hold it.
but
Judge didn't say he
I gotta
couldn't.
get out of here before I have a breakdown, man.
Yeah, Judge didn't say he couldn't say it, so why don't you say it?
All I am saying is, there is this agreement. I've not read this agreement. I don't know what this agreement is per se, in terms of how the court is ruling. Not even in a lot of ways, have detailed specifics about what needs to be decided. Maybe the issues, sir, that you're raising need to be decided. What I'm saying is, as to this property, if indeed that's going to be decided in Wayne County as part of this agreement, I'm going to issue the order, I would issue the order of eviction, subject to the date that your next hearing is, and giving enough time so that your interest in regard to that settlement can be protected by Mr. Fair. That's all I am saying. I'm not ruling that there's going to be an eviction. I'm not ruling any of that.
Then why rule at all? Why not
Because
wait
it's
till-
my job.
Okay.
Sit down.
Sorry.
Judge, can we rest at this point, and then I have a rebuttal after you speak to brother counsel? You know,
I've worked
and-
on this.
He needs to get out.
well,
I think you better go out. I'm going to pass it briefly. You
Whoa.
need to go out and check your
oh
client.
no, Judge. he's
No,
fine.
go out and check your client.
I will, Judge, but he's fine.
So, what just happened? The judge moved to issue the eviction order but cleverly attached a delay, giving time for the defense to seek a stay from Wayne County. It's a procedural win for the plaintiff, but not a total loss for the defense. This case is a prime example of how overlapping jurisdictions and unsettled agreements can drag simple motions into legal chaos, and that emotional